Well, good morning, everyone. I am so glad you could be here with me today, and happy Wednesday. I am just now getting my apron on, but you know what? I am ready to go, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with you today. Today, we're going to go from, the last little while we were doing Mexican stuff, well, with the exception of my great-grandmother's shipwreck. Today, we're going to go a little bit more French. We're going to do a souffle omelette. Now, typically, when we order omelettes, we order, ham and cheese, mushroom. What do you like on your omelets? I like my omelets loaded, but today we're going to do something simple and delicious. And if you're doing an egg fast, and yes, an egg fast is now a thing, you can use this to make your egg fast a little less boring and a little more exciting. If you are not doing an egg fast, this is an absolutely delicious breakfast, lunch, or supper, whichever meal or meals you're eating in a day. Okay, so we have a little bit to do today, and we are going to make some noise. Toasted marshmallow, sugar-free syrup from Da Vinci. It is absolutely delicious. I highly recommend that you try it. Okay, we are going to make a 2-egg omelet. I know it doesn't sound like very much, but it is very much. Now, let's just get everything ready here. Now, one thing you have to make sure of, now with a souffle, you probably have guessed, we are going to whip our egg whites. We want beautiful, big, white, meringue peaks in our egg whites. And so to do that, we need to separate our egg whites from the egg yolks. So when you separate your eggs, it is so important that you do not get even a drop of egg yolk in your whites, because if you do, they're not going to whip up. So with this especially, it is very important that when you separate your eggs, you do it into a separate bowl. That way, if you do happen to have one that breaks, now I'm going to do this into my hand, and mostly because right now especially, we don't really have time to break a yolk, so we're going to do this way, and we're going to let that yolk just drain away from the white, and then very gently we are going to put this egg yolk into the other bowl. Now, we're not ignoring the egg yolks. It's not that we're not using them. We definitely are. Okay, now, what we do not need is my scale, because everything is already done. Okay, now, there is 1 egg white into the bowl. And we are going to do the next one. Now, if you want to do a 3-egg omelet, you can do that. There is not a rule saying that you can't. Depends on how hungry you are. Now, I just do not want to take any chances. Sometimes it doesn't matter so much. Other times it really does. Okay. I'm just going to get that last bit of egg white. Put our yolks over there. Now, we're going to beat both the egg yolks and the egg whites. So, get rid of those in the compost. And look at that. We've only been here for 4 minutes and we are already making a mess. But that is okay. Now, let's get a spatula. When you're only using 2 eggs, I guess we probably shouldn't be wasting any. No production crew here today, just so you know. So, we are on our own today, kids. So we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into and see how many times I need to leave you before we get this done. Okay, so we're going to make a little bit of noise with this because we have to beat both the egg whites and the egg yolks. Now, I'm going to put just a pinch of salt in the egg yolks. And I am not going to put anything in the egg whites. Now you want to beat the whites first, because after you're done the whites, you can go right into the yolks. If you do it the other way around, you can't go from the yolks into the whites, or your whites won't beat. So we're going to turn this on high. There we go. Now you don't need a great big bowl because we're only doing 2 egg whites. We want these to be stiff peaks. And we want it to be nice and shiny and beautiful. So when you beat your eggs like this, you're stretching the proteins in the egg whites and you're putting air bubbles in between those stretched proteins. And you want to whip them until they are making beautiful, stiff peaks, but you don't want to whip them too much because they'll deflate if you do. So they should be beautiful and shiny. Okay, now that is almost done already. If you lift it out, not quite. You can see how beautifully shiny they are, I hope. Okay. Oh, and those you can see looking at them. So we don't even need to turn this off. We're going to go right from here into our egg yolk. Now, I know that doesn't seem like there's a lot in the bowl to even be worrying about, but you want these whipped up nice and beautifully because it's going to be easier to incorporate into our meringue with this. Try and make this make as little noise as possible. Now you can do this with a whisk. I don't do it with a whisk because my arm just won't do it. Okay, now you can see the color of these yolks are changing. They're getting nice and light and fluffy. Okay, so that's about as far as we need to go. Now I'm going to make a little more noise. This is how you can get the yolks off the beater. And there we go. Okay, so that is all the noise that we need to make. Now, while we're getting this all mixed together, we're going to turn our pan on. Now I've got my pan, I've got it on 2. So this is a medium low, and you don't want to go any more than medium low because this is something that needs to be cooked gently because we're not going to flip it, so you don't want to burn it on the bottom. Okay, now take 1/3 to 1/2 of your egg whites and we're going to fold them into our egg yolks. This is important. You don't want to deflate these. What we're doing with the egg yolks, or with the egg whites right now, is incorporating it into the yolk so that they're more the same consistency. And doing this is going to make it easier for us to incorporate the rest of the egg whites in here. So you can see that we've gotten that incorporated in there and it is beautiful. And now we don't need to worry about touching the egg whites with our yolks because we're going to mix that right in here. We want to get it all in there because this is going to be absolutely delicious. Okay, get the egg whites in here. Now this isn't exactly a French omelette. If it was a French omelette, we would be doing it a little bit different. We're going to make a point of browning this omelette a little bit. And with French omelettes, you don't do that. You want no color on them. Okay, so we'll get that over there. Now, don't just go around the side of the bowl to mix this in. You need to get in the middle of the bowl as well. And you don't want to beat it. You want to fold it in. And you want to fold it until the beaten egg whites that we just did are incorporated into those nice fluffy yolks that we also beat. And you can see how much more easily the second batch of egg whites is incorporating in. Now, I'm just going to leave that for a minute. This should be heated. We are going to add some butter to the pan. And I want to get all the way around the edges because we don't want to take a chance on our omelet sticking to the edges. And when we get that done, wipe up our mess here again. Pardon me. Okay. Just gonna move that butter around. Now it's going to brown a little bit, and that is absolutely okay. That is kind of where we want to go because we want this omelet. Almost dropped it. We want this omelet to be big and fluffy and flavorful, and browned butter is absolutely flavorful. Now you want to kind of make an omelet shape. If you have a non-stick pan, you can do that too. And we're going to get this in here and make it beautiful and round, and then okay, make sure that we get all of this off of here. Now that we have this round, we are going to set a 2-minute timer. Alexa, set a 2-minute omelet timer.
Omelet timer, 2 minutes, starting now.
Okay, now, if you have...
I'm not sure what you wanted to change.
Well,
I'm not sure what you wanted to change.
nothing.
I'm not sure what you wanted to change.
Alexa, stop listening to me.
I'm not sure what you wanted
Alexa,
to change.
stop. We have an eavesdropper, it would seem. Okay, now, we have this in the pan, and it's been in there for, I don't know, 30 seconds, 45 seconds? I guess we'll know when our timer goes off. I have a frog in my throat again this morning, and I absolutely know it's because of the whipped cream that I had last night. Now, we're covering this because it is a souffle omelette. Now, you don't have to, but you definitely can. This is just going to have it puff up a little bit more. It's going to have it cooking from the top down as well as the bottom up. So it takes a little bit less time. And that means that we're going to get our omelet on the plate a little bit faster. Now, what do you like on your omelet? So today we are going to put some cheese, a little bit of salt and pepper, and some chives that are fresh out of my garden. Now, I gotta tell you, when I went out to my garden to pick the chives this morning, I found 3 or 4 that were not frozen, and I found many that were frozen, and the frozen ones I brought in the house, and as they thawed, they were just beautiful and firm. They weren't wilty at all. So we got those chopped up, fresh out of the garden, which is going to make this absolutely delicious. Now, where are we on our... We are there. Alexa, cancel. Okay, now, watch what happens next. Now, the first thing is, we're going to add a little bit of salt on top. And don't be shy with the salt, especially if you are just getting started on keto. Salt is a great way to help avoid a keto flu. Helps keep your electrolytes balanced. And then we're going to add about half an ounce or 14 grams of extra old cheese. The older the cheese is, when you're talking about cheddar, the older the cheese is, the more flavor it has. And then we are going to add our fresh chives out of the garden. It just doesn't get better than that. Are you growing some herbs in your kitchen this winter? Okay, that looks like it's about enough. Now, because of the way this omelet is designed, you can see that it's getting all nice and fluffy. And we are going to just score it down the middle. And then we are very carefully going to fold it over and turn our heat off. Okay, now, as this is done, you can see we're just tipping it. We're getting a little bit more of the center of this omelet just browned a little bit, cooked a little bit more. Now this is going to be creamy and beautiful and runny in the center, and that's exactly the way we want it. There is nothing wrong with that. Now look at how wiggly and jiggly it is. Pardon me. Oh my goodness. You would think at some point I would learn, wouldn't you? Apparently not so much. Okay, now we are going to very gently take this souffle omelette out of the frying pan and onto the plate, in theory, without breaking it. Haha! And look at that! We did it! Now, look at how easy this was. And we just had a few a few extra little crunchy bits in the frying pan that are absolutely delicious. You can taste that nutty brown butter. You can see the milk solids in the butter that have browned and they're on the bottom of the pan. Now, if we had this any higher than a medium low, they would have burned, and they would not have been adding anything positive to our beautiful fluffy omelet. And you can see how some of the center is still kind of spilling out. Well, that is so delicious. Now we're just going to add a little bit more on top. And look at how beautiful that is going to be on your plate. Now, the brown butter is kind of on the plate a little bit, so we can just wipe that off before we serve it. And there you go. People are going to be absolutely amazed at how beautiful and big and fluffy your omelet is. You don't want to not try this. This is amazing, and it is so easy. Now, you do not need a mixer. You can use a whisk. I have an issue with my shoulder, which makes it a little harder for me to do, but you can do it however you want. Make sure that the bowl that you are beating your egg whites in is clean and dry, and there's no sign of grease at all, because that can totally stop your egg whites from whipping. Now look at what's happening here. We're going to take a bite of this beautiful omelet. And look at how gorgeous this is. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm going to make you jealous, and I'm doing it on purpose. This is amazing. You are not going to be sorry. Don't be worried about the center being a little bit creamy. That's exactly the way you want it to be. Now, I want to talk to you for a minute about something else. And this is something that has become, just one second here. Yeah, I know. I'm making you jealous. I'm trying to make you less jealous. This is something we've talked about before, and I'm going to continue talking about it because this is so important to me, and it should be, in my opinion, important to everyone. We live in a society right now where there are so many differences of opinion. Whether you believe that COVID is a huge problem or you don't believe it. Whether you believe vaccinations are a good thing or you don't believe they're a good thing. Whether you believe one political party is the only answer or another political party is the only answer. Whatever your opinion is, you have a right to that opinion. It is yours. And you should not let anyone tell you that you don't have a right to that opinion. But here's what I want to share with you. If you want people to respect your opinion, whether it's your opinion about nutrition, eating low carb, or your opinion about something political or something medical, whatever it is, you need to respect their opinion as well. One of the things that makes our country great, our world great, most parts of it, is that we're allowed to have a difference of opinion. But the only way that we can have a society where that's respected is if we respect each other. I have the answer to world peace. It's easy. Just be kind to each other. Be kind to each other and respect differences, respect opinions. Doesn't mean yours is wrong. Some people, their favorite food is liver and onions. I can't understand that. Other people, their favorite food is lasagna or pizza or whatever it is. I have an easier time understanding that. It doesn't make anybody wrong. It just makes them different. And isn't that what makes our world amazing? Is all of the differences that have led people to create beautiful things like this omelet so that we can get together here on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Mountain and we can make this beautiful, ginormous, fluffy souffle omelette because of the differences in our world. This is something a little more French combined with something a little more North American combined with something keto. So please be kind to each other and respect each other's differences. That doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that you hear. It just means that you have to be gentle with people who believe things that are different than what you believe. And if you don't know what to believe, that's okay too. That's okay too. Just make sure you check in with yourself to make sure that you know where you're standing. And if where you're standing is on a spot where you want to do low carb nutrition to regain your health, you know how to get hold of me. You can get hold of me on YouTube or on Facebook, any way you like. Just make sure that you get hold of me if you're looking for someone to help you navigate the keto waters, because that is what I'm here for. And oh my goodness, that is so good. Together, we will navigate keto omelets and keto cakes. And so I think we are going to continue with an egg, what do we want to call it? An egg series. So today is an omelet. On Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain, when we get together, we are going to make a keto-friendly pseudo cheesecake thing. You don't want to miss it. You are definitely going to want to be here. Bring a friend, bring two friends, get together, have a coffee party in the morning, and join me. I would love to join your coffee party. I would be honored to be a guest there. So get your people together, whether it is virtually or in person, whatever it is you're doing. Reach out to someone that you love. Tell them that you want to visit with them, that you want to spend time. Respect their differences. Help educate them if they're trying to learn. And if you're trying to learn, maybe they can help educate you. And if you're trying to learn about keto and low carb nutrition, I would be happy to be your guide. So I will see you here on Friday morning, 10 a.m. Mountain, and again on Sunday morning. Scratch that. Friday at noon and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. All times are in Mountain. This has been an amazing day. I am so honored to have spent time with you, whether you're here live or whether you're having a watch party later on. Do it however you're doing it. And click all the things, the subscribe and the like, and that way we can get together a little more often. And we can talk about the stuff that we want to talk about. If you have a recipe that you would like to see ketoed on one of my lives, send me a message, send me the recipe, and I would be happy to do that for you. Okay, have an amazing Wednesday. If you are looking for TSL spices or spice mixes, you want to look at the Wetaskiwin Farmers Market today, because that is where I will be from 3 until 6 this afternoon. Look for the insulated tent with the heater going in it, because I am a winter wimp. I'm going to have to make myself a card that says that, because I keep telling people I am a card carrying wimp, and I am, and I own it, and I'm proud of it. Whoever you are, be proud of who you are and where you are. And if you want to make changes, do that, but be proud of who you are every step of the way. I will see you on Friday at noon. Have an amazing Wednesday. I hope I will be seeing you at the Wetaskiwin Farmers Market.